You're watching The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ Envy, Angela Yee, Charlamagne the God. We are the Breakfast Clubs. We have some special guests in the building. From Queens,
Yes.
Elliott Wilson.
Yeah, Rap Radar.
And the Styles P hater B.Dot.
Hello, my loves.
B.Dot is not a Styles P.
I am not a style.
It's all love.
That is a false
That's a false
narrative.
narrative.
That's a
That's
false
when
narrative.
Lennar started that up, man. He started the beef as
Lennar.
usual,
I didn't
man.
start it up. B.Dot just said Mace was better than Styles.
But
He
said
is.
that. He said
Oh,
that.
my goodness.
You had a conversation. I don't understand how private conversations y'all have through text lead to
There's
content.
never private
for the
conversations.
message.
No.
We ask each other. We're like,
Yeah,
let's
that's
take
all
this to
good.
the timeline.
Nah, it's all
You
good.
don't ask me when you take stuff to the timeline.
But yours is too good to be true. Like with 9.5-inch dildos and stuff like
Oh,
that.
my goodness.
But we're here to talk hip hop. We're not talking about that this morning, okay?
Yes, the
Road
Rap
show.
Radar podcast on
We're back.
Tidal, man. Season 3. We're excited.
Mixed by Ali, first up.
Yep.
Yeah, y'all checked that out yet? TD?
Sure did.
No, I haven't checked it out yet. I want to, though. I didn't know he mixed the Nipsey album. I mean, I know
Yeah.
that from following
Yeah.
y'all, but I didn't know he mixed the Nipsey
Yeah, and
album.
I think a lot of things with Kendrick too, like obviously it's really cool now to say Kendrick's the best and the ascension of how he's grown as an artist. But I think what doesn't get said is that Kendrick's sound is so unique and a lot of different elements to the mix. And you listen to a record like DNA and you listen to Element, you listen to Humble, and Ali's a major part of that. And I think that part of it doesn't get told. And all the ascension of TDE, sonically they're delivering on such a high level too that their music just sounds crisper and clearer and sharper.
I think that's
than a
also
lot of stuff that's out here.
That's also the reason why like people like YG and Nipsey have gone to him because of that signature quality sound. He's good at what he does.
Right.
I'm
Great
going to
at what
listen
he
today in
does.
the gym. I found it interesting that it's finally another mixer that we're talking about other than Guru.
Yes, exactly.
Guru's he's had a stranglehold on that for years.
He monopolized
First,
the
it was Duro. Then it came
Yeah.
Duro.
Duro.
That's your guy.
Desert
Yeah.
Storm.
Duro was my guy, then Guru, and now
Wait, what about RZA?
He was a mixer?
Well,
RZA wasn't a mixer, was
he
he?
did used to mix the Wu albums, and remember how they used to sound, the
Well,
quality.
distorted,
Yeah.
He didn't care. RZA was like, it's done. It's all
Bong
good.
bong.
It sounds good.
How hands-on is Jay-Z with the podcast? Because I remember a couple years ago, Jay didn't know what a podcast was.
Well, we developed a whole series of podcasts. I mean, that's the thing with Tidal, and that's part of what, from Jump I wanted to bring, we were at CBS, we did 100 episodes, so that was big for us to bring it over to Tidal, but he's into them, he listens to them. I think there was all those cultural moments, like what Taxstone was doing, what we were doing, like he would catch those kind of things, and I think it started to, something to interest him. And, it's just another way to create original content. We shoot up, our stuff's always on video. We have a great look. We do a black and white look. So it's video content, too. You can call it a podcast. You can call it video content. It's all original content.
Y'all boxed everybody out last year with that Jay-Z interview,
Oh, that
man.
was hard. That was
Y'all wasn't
big.
playing fair. He kept it in-house.
Title exclusive.
He kept it
Why not?
in-house.
Well, we
But that
delivered,
makes
though.
sense.
We delivered, though.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
anybody would
delivered.
do the same thing.
I think there's value in the Jay-Z interview. He could have gone anywhere in the world, but why not empower yourself and get your own platform popping?
And I worked hard for you. You had me up in here crying.
And that's another thing, too.
Interviews,
It took us literally 100 episodes for us to get Jay-Z. You know
And
what I'm
Elliott
saying?
is very persistent.
Very persistent.
You
He's
don't
not
say.
going to not let that
got a
happen.
B.Dot
DJ
is too, though. B.Dot is too. B.Dot gets on you, too.
No, you turn into Malcolm X though when you want something. By any means necessary.
Yo, the fact that we survived, like Rap Radar was a blog. Look, the blog era is gone, right? We
Right.
started this blog in 2000.
Yeah, it's over.
The blog era. I mean, blogs still exist,
Right.
but
Okay.
I'm proud of what we've done with Rap Radar and how we reinvented the brand and how we survived. And I've been stuck with this guy for like damn near 10 years. The way you guys
Word.
have been stuck together, like
Did
it's
y'all
just
ever
crazy.
beef? Did y'all
like-
ever fight
Of
in arguments,
course.
like to the point where y'all not talking to each
Yeah,
other?
That
done
Jay-Z
quit like
interview
10
made me
times.
not want to talk to Elliott for like at least a week.
Why? Did Elliott edit some things?
It was something that was taken out of.
What
What
was
did he edit
taken
out?
out?
Can we talk about that?
some drugs talk.
I talked
What do you
about.
mean
I
drug
asked
talk?
Jay-Z
Yeah.
about the 92 bricks.
What?
Yeah,
The
and
Holy Grail. You might get it one day.
one day.
Why'd you take it out, though?
It
What's
didn't
the
fit the
reason?
context of the interview. It didn't
Ah,
fit the
Elliott.
context. It
You
didn't.
talking to a 14-year drug dealer. How does talking about 92 bricks not fit the context?
We watched the 2 hours of content. You didn't watch the 2 hours of content we did deliver and was like, yo, damn, they didn't get to that part. That was missing.
Well, I didn't know it wasn't there.
Yeah, you don't
No,
know.
when I was watching it, I was like, wait a second, it's not there. And I sent Elliott like a long ass email, like, what the hell? And then he explained
Man,
it.
one guy works in time and the other doesn't.
I like this combo now. What was the segue that made you feel like it was out of place, Elliott? Like, what was the segue that made it feel
Oh,
like
there
it
was
was
a
out of
lot of
place?
talk. It just we talked about a lot of things for like that whole period was about. There was about 30. I think I cut about 30.
half an hour.
Yeah, half hour.
So
yeah.
B.Dot asked the question, so
We
you
had a
took it
long
out.
You
conversation.
should have re-asked the question and then just took B.Dot's voice out.
All right, so the next question is.
But it was a very in-depth answer.
We'll get to
so
it, man. One day, man. Content lives. man.
That's by the way, that is a question that inquiring minds definitely want to know.
Exactly.
We'll ask
So
you
I think
here.
it's its own content piece, and probably one day you guys will see it.
Did his
Yeah,
answer
it'll get
sound
addressed.
real?
Nah, it
Hey,
sounded
hey,
like
hey,
oh,
that's
too far.
That's it.
Too
Tidal.
far. Okay. Too far. Tidal.com
Okay, yo,
/Rap
enough
Radar.
with that,
Now,
man.
how
Next
many-
question, man.
How many
please.
artists are really mad they can't do the Rap Radar podcast because you guys are very selective, obviously, over who you
You
have?
know what we just did, and it was dope. It was and people would be like surprised. Probably we would give him the platform was Black Youngster. man.
I saw B.Dot saying he loves the album.
The album is
Yeah,
really
no,
good.
that's what made me feel like okay. I mean, I like his songs and I like the antics he does on IG and what he does, right? But I was like, he's not worthy to be a Rap Radar podcast guest. But
Damn.
when I heard,
My Lord.
and then I heard the album, and the album is very surprisingly solid. Like there's range to the album, there's
Yeah, it
growth.
is.
Like he's really a smart dude. Like a lot of those guys that are funny and they do their personality thing. Then he's not a dummy. He's not a knucklehead. He's a very smart, calculated young dude who's building his rep up, and the music is surprisingly solid. And B.Dot works at Epic, so when B.Dot was like, "Yo, the album's really good," I was like, "Yeah, okay, Epic, man." Like,
Yeah, I'm
sure
biased
it's good.
now.
Isn't that a
Because he works
conflict
at
of
Epic.
interest though for B.Dot to work at Epic?
It could be a conflict of interest if you don't execute things right. But I think he wasn't promised that. I think he earned it. Like I said, I came to the record and I was like, oh, this record actually is pretty solid. So then when we sat with Black Youngster, I think that we got the same kind of fun moments that maybe you guys had with him, but we got some serious content out of him too. And I think it was a really in-depth, like 1 hour interview with him, which I didn't know if we would get that much content. I was like, if we get a good half hour, I'm good, or a good 40 minutes, but we got a good hour with him, and I think it's going to impress people. So I think that now when people come to Rap Radar podcast, they expect to have like a really strong, definitive type of
You want
interview.
like a Steve Stout or...
Yeah, I mean, we set the standard with Jay obviously last year, and I think the Steve Stout one, even the Mace one, Charlamagne's favorite.
Yeah.
I listened to Mace. Mace was good.
Yeah, so I think
I
it
listened
sets
to
a
Steve
certain
Stout.
standard.
Didn't like a lot of stuff Steve
What
said.
did Steve
You
say?
disagree with him. You
Yeah, what did
disagree
Steve
with
say?
him.
Steve said
He said that
we shouldn't be able to talk about the
shouldn't
legends in the game.
yeah,
or
you
something?
shouldn't critique certain artists like Kanye did. He mentioned me and Envy specifically, and I was like, that's the whole point of hip hop. Like nobody's above critique. When you're a consumer, you choose to indulge in somebody based off whether you think something they did is whack or something they think is,
Right.
they did is dope.
I think he was saying, but at the same time, you need to acknowledge that certain artists like that transcend the game. We owe a lot to them too.
Who
also.
doesn't acknowledge that though?
But I think that sometimes he feels in the covers that part isn't acknowledged, like it isn't dealt with that level of respect.
So you're
I
saying
guess,
if you're
you
not
know?
hot right now at this moment, you should still get the respect of having been a person that broke down doors and...
No, I think
transcend-
there's certain elite artists are the elite artists, right?
Right.
Much hasn't changed. We've seen now with Drake and Kendrick ascend to that, but you have a Jay, a Kanye, a Nas, and Eminem. Like you see, even the way people are tearing down Eminem. Eminem is, is one of the greatest of all time, whether you like his
Absolutely.
recent content or not. And you just see a lot of people now being able to like tear at the greats, and like, I think it does get a little out of control because you see how like so much of like it's driven by social media, and it just becomes a trend to kind of tear down. So I think that's what he meant. I mean, I think there needs to be a balance with that. Like you said, no one's above critique, and I think that what happens often is the same thing with Kanye coming to your platform. It's validation of your strong opinion. I think it helps then improve their art because they need someone to check on them, tap in, and tell them what's going on.
I think Steve
Eventually
Stout
they
just
listen.
rides with anybody who's cutting him a check. That's what I personally think.
Well, he does business. He does great business with the elite, and I think it benefits him, and it also benefits the culture, though.
But can you really put stock in somebody's opinion like that when you know that they're getting a check with that person? The same way I asked if it was a conflict of interest with you. Like, is their opinion really valid?
Nah, but
People,
Steve's
I think
been
the
getting
people are going to decide, right? If the people, if we did a whack Jay-Z interview, the people would be like, "Oh, Jay went to the platform. He controlled everything. It looked like some BS."
He
Beat
did
out whatever,
though.
like
He made you cut out the 92 bricks reference.
He cut out nothing.
that was an Elliott decision.
Jay-Z would have just not answered that.
So with all your interviews, there's pieces that you cut out. You don't just release the whole interview.
No,
Not most of the interviews.
Most is minor changes.
Yeah.
Like if
If
somebody,
ever.
there was something Nipsey had that he said.
But you asked the same question from Nipsey. It was about the fight with Mayweather. Well, the fight that he had.
that 50 and Mayweather ran or whatever.
Yeah.
I think at that time he wasn't ready to talk.
'Cause he
about
didn't
it,
even
so
know
we
this-
did, we did cut that part out.
Yeah, because the song wasn't
Yeah.
even out yet at that time. So
But
he
it's
asked to
rare.
take
It's
it out.
minor changes. It's minor changes, and we never make changes that sacrifice content. Again, you got 2 hours of Jay-Z on camera. Interview that just addressed everything, from the elevator to the album to everything. So,
Right.
we never will shortchange the consumer, but we do make minor tweaks. But there's not a lot of editing that goes on with the podcast. It's kind of like the flow of what it is. And I think that's what's great about it too. Is what I love about our podcasts too is I think sometimes, you guys don't do that, but a lot of podcasts, a lot of interviews, they make everything go chronological, which can get really boring. Like I feel like our interviews, like your interviews, can go different places. We can go to the past. We can talk about current stuff. It has energy, you know, and I think that's what makes it strong.
Now, what do you think about what Diddy said on Instagram? Because everybody was talking about this, right? He's talking about it is literally the culture getting diluted. It is literally too much. Everybody's saying the same ish in different ways. He said you have to be special. You have to be unique.
Well, he wasn't lying.
Not true.
But I feel
What do you mean?
I feel like Puff does that
Some lie in
I
it.
feel like Puff
do you mean by
does that
it's a
every
lie?
year, though. Puff does that a lot. Like I feel like every
What's that?
often Puff gives you like his state of the game, how
State
he
of the
views
Union?
things. I know that he does hold people to a high standard. I think he's frustrated that he hasn't found the next big year, that type of level talent. You know what I mean? That type of person.
Once in
like,
a lifetime, though.
Yeah, I think that he's chasing that. I think his greatness is
But I think
because I think he's an executor. He needs that great artist to create greatness with, and I think he gets frustrated.
But he's
that
validated to
he
say
doesn't
that,
have
though. You know what I'm saying? This is the guy that made Bad Boy, Biggie, and Mace, and all these other guys.
But again, I think that's not some statement. We always to love hip hop is to critique it. And there's a lot of great things we're seeing, but then there's a lot of copycat stuff that doesn't.
There's a
seem
lot
like
of copycats.
It's gonna last forever. So it's just a constant state of hip hop conversation.
I don't think
that we
Puff's
all
into
have,
music like
you
that
know?
anymore. I don't think he necessarily
He
cares for music.
can't be.
I
Like,
think he
what
did
you
so much
mean?
money doing so many other things. I don't really think.
But then when
People say
Nipsey was
that.
up here, he talked about how Puff helped him with
But
his...
you don't think he misses that moment when
Everyone
Bad Boy, like
does.
he has that record.
That's why he had that
you're
reunion.
playing with this artist on Bad Boy. That,
it's
like,
been so
like,
long. I think he cares more about his liquor
Nah,
deals.
you always
Nah,
you
you always
still-
want
that.
Rappers
You
say
always
that
want
they don't care about the music
You
until they're in the
always
club.
want
and
that.
want that
You
record.
always want
I
that.
think it's
They want
still
that
excites
energy.
You
him.
always want that.
Puff's an entertainer. He ain't a rapper. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
but
so he's
He ain't
more
got the
than
But he's
person
part of
to
the
be.
record to
lifestyle.
put his ad libs on that joint. That's like like that's the one. Like
I just
he's
think
taking records like even like Young Jock is going down and then realized what that was and added his flavor
I
to
like
that.
his
or
son's
got
record.
behind
do
it.
nothing
I
to
like
that
his son's record.
No, he jumped on the record. I'm just saying he co-signed. No, but I'm
nobody
saying
cares.
he ain't had that record to really jump on. That's why he's all over Nipsey's album. And you see he
Yeah.
got all these credits on Nipsey's album. He's the sonic composer.
Sounds
He's
good, though.
He
does.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. I think he misses that energy of like collaborating with people that are really trying to make that timeless music more so than like what's the hot thing on YouTube
In the
and
moment.
what the trend is.
I just think when you step back and you look at the whole game of hip hop right now, hip hop is in a great space.
I agree.
I just think that sometimes we focus on one or two artists that we don't like that maybe getting a lot of radio play or everybody's into it, like, oh, that's
Right.
what's wrong with the culture. No, it's way more dope shit out here than whack shit. to
I
me.
agree.
And then sometimes you just have this preconceived notion like you guys, like you did with Black Youngster.
Right.
Absolutely.
You
But I
get-
also feel like you have to earn it though. Like he did make a really solid album. So then it's like, okay, he now deserves that moment. I'm sure you put a lot of thought into when you let somebody be worthy enough to be on this platform. It's
Right.
like
No, we don't. You see some
Not
of the people
really.
we interview?
I mean, you do get Safari up here a lot.
Yeah.
We still got
but look, even like
You still got
that's
some
a-
money? You still got Safari money?
That's a good example though. So if Safari put together like a solid album, do you think you would even bother to listen to it?
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
mean,
pay
I
attention to everything. I think that, but I think the Safari has to make that record before we would sit with Safari. Of
course.
You know, like, but,
That's
that,
kinda
but
like
our agenda is
What if he
different than
threw
maybe
money
your.
at
Safari was 36 on iTunes yesterday.
It was kind of like with Cardi B when
Thanks
she
to
first
your
started.
guys.
When Cardi B first broke out,
Yeah.
with the Gangsta Vibe,
Yep.
her mixtape series. You know, people were kind of hesitant and reluctant to listen, but when I actually listened, like, yo, she could rap. She
And we
gets
did
busy.
Cardi, I mean, you was on Cardi early, obviously,
Early,
but
yeah.
with Bodak Yellow first, what our radar was when Bodak Yellow first entered the Hot 100 charts, and it was like in the bottom half, like 76 or something like that. I listened to the record, and I was like, yo, this record really is a good record. Like, this could go.
And she
So
could
we
rap.
got her for the podcast, and it was weird because she wasn't even really doing press. She was about to get that Fader cover, like her first big cover, but she wasn't really doing press. So she came and sat with us on the humble. She didn't have no makeup done. She wasn't dialed up. So we did video, and she didn't even look great in the video. So we didn't put the video out out of respect for her because it wasn't like she was.
Damn, Elliott.
She wasn't camera ready. She wasn't like she wasn't prepared. But gave us a great interview. And then right after we did the podcast, that was like our third podcast on
Yeah.
Tidal. That record started getting bigger and bigger, and then went #1. So I think we love being part of those type of moments where. Once we start co-signing somebody, that's the beginning of like the full ascension. Like I think that's more our role than just getting everybody that we think would be entertaining content.
We played Cardi B's first record here on the Breakfast Club, Cheap Ass Weave.
Cheap Ass Weave.
Off Gangsta Bitch Music. Off Gangsta Bitch Music Volume 1.
That's right.
But there's
Yeah.
a big difference between Cheap Ass Weave, with all respect, and Bodak Yellow.
Hey, man,
Right.
we saw the vision. You know what I'm saying? We saw the vision early.
I just remember sitting down with B.Dot and Kaiser,
boy.
and the two of them having this huge.
Oh, yeah.
What was it about?
Mike,
This was
Mike
the
Kaiser
last
from
year.
Atlantic
You and the
Records.
guys got into it.
This was
They-
last
when
year
I
at Made
tell
in
you,
America.
This was they were arguing for like 2 hours straight, and I was like, okay,
About
you
what?
guys,
Did they have that
this is
Deuce
going
in
in
the system?
circles.
Was that Deuce in the
It
system?
was
Definitely Kaiser was definitely drunk. I
Arguing
know
about
Kaiser
what,
was drunk.
though?
It was about breaking. It was about breaking music in a
It was
blog
about-
era and podcast and.
It was about the standards that you guys have, because Heiser was trying to say, in order for you guys to be on the cusp of what's happening, sometimes these artists don't have to be so huge. You can actually help
he was
break
breaking up
them.
balls because he said we didn't co-sign. I think people get so caught up in that envy, like who was the first to play. Like success has many fathers, right? And everybody wants to fight over, like, I was the first to discover, I was the first to play, I was the first to make this pop off. And it's just like, I'm not trying to, my validation doesn't come from that. I don't want to necessarily, my own position of what I am and what I've been in this game, even with someone like 50 Cent, for example, who's probably somebody's rise that career-wise was connected so much to me professionally, right? 50 was the hot guy on the mixtapes. He earned at the street level, was killing it, and I jumped on it. We started covering it. Then he signs a Shady Aftermath. Again, it's about the person earning that opportunity. Right. I wasn't the first one to say, oh, Ghetto Quran is this, and this is why he's going to be that. It's like I get on it when it's about time to be the thing to take it to the next level. And I think that's what I feel my role is. And a lot of times that's what Rap Radar.
Yeah, absolutely. With the podcast, I feel it's more so documentation than actually breaking an artist. I don't think I'm a DJ, so I don't think I have that sort of stamp of validation to do that.
But y'all got a voice.
Yeah, but
you know what I'm saying? Voice means something. Yeah, voice is very important.
Yeah, but I think it's always about timing. You know what I mean? Like, why now? Like, why get Cardi B at this particular moment versus Cardi B from 2 years ago?
But I think our voice helps project that. Like, even when I remember when 2 Chainz changed his name to 2 Chainz. He was still Titty Boy. And I think we had a show, SOBs had a show, you guys were hosting the show. Like, we had started embracing him, like, and Spend It took off. Like, I love being part of that magic moment where it kind of first breaks through the mainstream. Not necessarily being like, well, I used to always ride with him every single song he put out. Like,
well, I really did, though. I used to really like Player Circle.
Yeah.
You was a big
I was really into Player Circle,
so
man.
Where you from again?
South Carolina. Absolutely.
So who's the next artist? Who's the big artist you guys are chasing? Well, I should say, Elliott, you chasing this year. Who are you chasing? Who
I just
you
said
after?
I don't. When that
seen
person
you fly
makes
out to
that
Toronto
record.
one time and trying to get
Why
Jay.
ain't you chase now? Come on.
No, we're going to Atlanta now. We're doing speaking of 2 Chainz, we're going to do 2 Chainz for the podcast. I got my bags packed right out there. You know, I go hunt down the rappers. That's what I do.
So what makes you validate artists now, I guess?
I just think it's all about in the moment, you know, where they're at in the game. Like, again, goes back to timing. So if who has a hot record right now?
Or even though, but look at Nipsey, right?
Nipsey's a great example.
We did Nipsey for the podcast last year. Was our last one of that season. It dropped in December, I think, right?
Yeah, December.
And we rolled that out for 2 months, and we didn't relaunch the podcast till now with Ali. So, but now look what happened. He delivered with Victory Lap. So we're proud. I didn't know the album was gonna be that great, that strong, but we believed in him.
Right.
We knew he was talented. We loved his story. We had a history with him with supporting the Crenshaw Project and helping him connect with Jay to get Jay to support it back then. And he delivered with Victory Lap. So I think that's the rewarding part. Like, even if you don't credit me as the first tier of success, then credit me on the second tier.
What if you go to a showcase and there's an artist that no one's ever heard of, but you are like, oh my God, this person is the next big thing?
I
pay
champion.
attention. I remember seeing Russ perform at Santos, and there was like 100 people in the crowd, and he did his thing and then came down, said hi to me, and I said, what's up? And I didn't really know him, and then he ended up being Russ and has these records, and he's somebody we did a great podcast with live and stuff like that. And like, he's a provocative person who talks all this mess and people get mad at him. But you know, at the end of the day, he delivers big records, and he has now gold and platinum plaques. So I feel like we were connected to that rise.
I think that's what it's all about too, is like actually performing. Because a lot of people, they have their moment, is like, okay, this is cool, but what comes next? What follows up? And a lot of people sometimes don't live up to the expectation.
Yeah, I think live is important. A lot of times, you saw Macklemore live before he took off. So I think that's what we put a lot of premium too. Like, we'll try to see artists live, and I think that also tells the tale a little bit more about their potential to break through.
How do y'all feel about co-signing all these white rappers during the Black Lives Matter movement?
I think
you powered a lot of white rappers here. Like,
white rappers have always existed.
I've never even heard of Russ record.
They're not even rare anymore. I remember when they were a rare breed.
How you never heard of a Russ record?
Not a diss to him. I just haven't listened. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's your fault, man.
Yeah, I actually, when I saw him on y'all podcast, I meant to like get in tune with him, but I just still haven't gotten around.
Nah, he's good. He gets busy, man.
Streaming on your Tidal, which you support. Thank you for that.
I love Tidal.
You can go there one day. Why do you love Tidal?
Because number one, it sounds better. To me, it sounds better than Apple, and it's a black-owned business.
Right.
Like, I'm supporting them over Apple
I
any day.
appreciate that.
If I got to choose between Tidal and Apple, and Tidal sounds better and it's a black-owned business, I'm gonna go with Tidal all day.
What do you do at Tidal? What do you do at Tidal?
I'm in charge of a lot of stuff, man. Now, all the hip-hop content I oversee in terms of the playlisting. I think our playlists are the strongest out there in terms of curating the culture and what the conversation's about. We kind of create playlists out of the news cycle. Like, even with Ali now, you'll see a good playlist of songs that Ali actually engineered that complement the podcast. The original content, you know, like you said, we have the Rap Radar podcast. I have a series called Car Test, when I get with new artists and they debut their music to me. and we go on a car ride, and that's a content piece that we do. Pretty much anything you see hip hop related, you can.
YN is so competitive. He won't even shout out any other podcast. There's other podcasts on Tidal.
What about Angie Martinez?
Nori is not on Tidal.
Angie Martinez is.
Angie Martinez, the queen. Yes. Also, Fat Joe.
I'll tell if you're trying to avoid Fat Joe. Fat Joe out here cooking right now. He's getting all the big interviews.
We got into it at the Rock Nation brunch. I saw Joe, and I'm like, Joe, what are we doing, man? You trying to take me out, man? What we doing? Elliott. Hell yeah.
It's crazy rappers wanting to be media nowadays.
Everybody's coming up to Fat Joe, like Pusha T and all these guys. They're not even talking about the new record. They're talking about, I want to be on a podcast. And Fat Joe's like loving it. He's eating it up. Like, why do artists even want to be media men?
Because their conversations are so different.
It wasn't cool to be media back in the day, Ant. You know it wasn't cool.
Yeah, but
you would have heard that wrote the review and they tried to find you the club and beat you up.
Absolutely.
Media wasn't cool.
I think they see
everybody want to be media men.
They see like Nori's Drake champs and
Joe
they see the conversations.
Joe Budden.
Yeah, Joe Budden.
I think,
they see those conversations that are being had that people.
So who's to blame?
Moni Love. She was the first,
Moni
right?
Love, yep.
Moni Love was the first rapper.
I think
radio, right?
Joe was early.
I think Nori and Joe are to blame.
Right.
Nori and Joe are to blame because they've actually had success doing what they're doing.
Yeah,
they made it accessible.
But Joe always had that in him, though.
Joe
did radio.
Joe
was
hot
hosting the morning
morning
show.
show.
I remember
that morning
he
show.
wanted to do it, and Kevin Lyles told him he couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Which he should have kept doing it. He should have just kept doing it. But Joe's good at it.
But Def Jam told him he
Nori
couldn't do
is.
it.
I think I like what Nori does because it's like being inside a locker room.
Congrats on Nori, you guys with the cooking show. Congrats.
Yeah,
I hit him yesterday. I'm not a hater. I said congrats.
I'm not a hater.
He said thanks, YN. We go at it a little bit, but it's all in the name of.
Are you competitive with the other podcasts on Tidal? Because you're a competitive person, YN.
I'm a little less though now. It's not cool to be competitive. I'm
Are you and
competitive
your
in
wife-
different ways. Here's the difference.
Uh-oh.
I don't think we're all fighting for this one thing anymore. It used to be that. It used to be like, is it you guys or the other morning show?
Right.
And you guys have proven it's not even about that. We're in all these different markets. Right. We're who we are. So I think that's what competition is now. It's not anymore about like the XXL Source thing where it's like, you have what I want. I got to get you off the mountain to get it. So I'm proud of everything that we're doing. Tidal's a victory to me. So I'm proud of all the great content. We got Joey Badass podcast about to come out that's really strong.
Now, I don't know how I'm going to feel about that.
Why not?
I don't know how I'm going to feel about that.
Why not?
Because Joey's young. Like,
But we need
That's
young
perfect.
guys.
I think that's perfect.
Perspective.
Yeah.
I don't know what he's going to talk about, though.
Well, you got to listen and see.
It's coming real soon.
But
First episode's really good.
and then
there's other voices too. It's a premise around it. I won't give it away, but there's a premise to have that exchange.
Got you.
Of the generations.
So it's just not him just talking about.
No.
Because he's too young. He's not going to be disgruntled. I know every now and then he gets like, I hate rap right now.
Right.
He's not going to be disgruntled or anything like that, right?
No, it's good. Great conversation.
I'm going to check it out.
You still want to do radio? Because at one time you really wanted to do radio.
I want to do everything.
Hey,
They said like Elliott's out here, Hall of Famer, working around like he's a rookie. Like that's how I feel. I feel re-energized. I'm excited. I always strive to be like the hottest, and like at the end of the day, I also feel like I've done a lot, so I'm a legend. But I love the feeling of new.
Damn, YN.
Damn. Cocky munch.
God damn, YN.
But I love
Jesus
new. And we all
Christ.
love new though. Like you wrote a book, right, Charlamagne? That was new. We saw what that meant for your career, right?
Yes,
Like,
New York
was
Times
new.
bestseller, 7
So I
times on the
think
New York Times bestseller.
we're always striving for that component of new, hottest, and the legendary thing. Breakfast Club, you're legendary. It's a legendary show. You don't have to do one more episode. You don't have to do one other episode. What y'all have done, the reign you've had,
we
you
got
put
a lot
enough
more to go.
tenure
We
in.
got a
I
lot
know
more to
that's
go.
how I feel.
Is B.Dot a
So we're
legend?
built the same way.
Good question. Elliott, is B.Dot a legend?
He getting there. He getting there.
I don't know, man. I'm just happy to be
You don't
here.
want it yet, though. You don't want it yet.
He does G-Dep on Bad Boy.
No, he's not.
Oh, I bet you think G-Dep top 5 now.
He's G-Dep
He's top 2 on Bad Boy.
B-Dot is the back and forth flow. He's
G-Dep Hive. I don't know what the hell is that about.
No, when Drake posted the other day, he was like, stepped out of the car bumping G-Dep. I sent it in the group chat. I said, I bet you think G-Dep top 5 now, don't you, B-Dep?
I don't know why you're a G-Dep Hive and anti-Mace.
He has ripped jeans.
Yeah, I was looking at B.Dot's outfit. His jeans, he has a hole in his
got jeans in
thigh.
my shirt.
Like he got money. Don't you think he got money? He got
Holes in
little buddy.
I see
What
both knees.
What the fuck do you do?
Like that,
What cartel do you work for? And because I look on your Instagram page and
I've
I'm
been doing
like,
this since 16. So
I understand. I understand you got
I
this
still
and
got
that.
mixtape money somewhere.
Oh my God.
Talk that talk, Abby.
Because I'm like, this nigga works for Escobar, something.
I work hard.
Whatever,
I
man.
work hard. I
He's
floss
saying
hard. I
he's
work hard.
a young brother with connections.
I know,
I
man,
work
but
hard.
damn, man.
But B.Dot, you have been on the front lines of a lot of things
Yeah,
because
let's go to B.Dot. What's going on with B.Dot?
you have been very critical of artists and
Like who?
spoken your mind, and I'm sure sometimes you see them in person
Oh.
and they have things to say to you.
Like who?
I mean, most recently Styles P.
Me and Styles is like.
I hugged Styles P like 3 times at your birthday party to make sure
I
you
saw
look good. I was like, yo, Styles!
Why? And you didn't think B.Dot was wilding a little bit
I
with
wasn't
that
wilding.
hot take?
I saw Styles at the
people
birthday
that haven't
party.
Heard, say,
Are
tell
we
exactly
going to
what
this
He
it
said
is.
Styles was better than Mace. I mean,
And
Mace
he
was better than
is.
Styles. He said
And
Mace
he
was better
is.
than
He's saying
Styles.
Mace was
Mace-
a bigger artist and they
No,
No,
no.
no.
He said bigger
He
Let me
said
finish.
better.
I said,
Lyrics.
let me finish. He's a better rapper than Styles, and there's no disrespect to Styles. I understand because you have a problem with Mace.
I don't have a problem
You do
with
have a
Mace.
problem
He
with
does
Mace.
have a problem
You
with
have a
Mace.
problem
Why
with
don't you
Mace.
bias
Yes, he
Mace
does.
when you guys
And
had
you're
You
biased.
allegedly had a
You said
situation.
Harlem World's not a classic.
You'll handle it properly. Why are you still mad at Mace?
I don't have a problem with Mace. And if we
You
actually.
have a bias.
Would you
though.
put money in the
You got
collection
how-
plate?
Mace is nice though.
Mace is
I
nice.
never
Yeah,
said he
nice.
wasn't, but he
Yes,
ain't
you
better than
did.
Styles.
Yes, you did.
No, I didn't.
Okay, but you
it's
said he's
easy to
better
say
than.
Styles is better because Styles has been a pillar. He's consistent. Mace dips in,
Right.
splashes, and goes out. He's always done that.
And even
So-
when he dipped in, he never was spitting better than Styles. Even
No,
when he
that's
was
not
just
true,
dipping
though.
in.
That's not
But you
true.
put-
They all give him none of the locks disrespect Mace's lyrical flow.
Except you.
Only
I
do that.
have never
They never
once
do
said
that.
Mace was whack.
But they
But you-
disagree with you on that.
But you
See,
put
the
him.
man,
You
even
just
Tiff
said
that. They
even
all
Puff
disagree
had to
with
come
you.
here and say Mace was top 5. You said he wasn't even top
Every
5. Bad
person
boy.
you question on that
That's
disagrees
crazy.
with
He's
you.
like number 7.
But that's not a no. He's number 6. But that's not a bad thing.
Yes, it
Everybody
is.
No, it's not. That's the
disagrees.
they were the Warriors at that
Oh
time.
my goodness.
You had Biggie,
inaccurate.
Jadakiss, Styles,
It
Black
wasn't- It's not
Rob,
accurate. It's wrong.
Mace, G-Dep. Mace was the 6th.
But when
man
I
to me.
saw Styles at Angela's birthday party, it was no beef. It was love. He just says that he understands
Yeah,
where I
he's
was
vegan.
coming from.
Let me ask you another question. Let me ask you a serious question. Serious
Then he
question.
said he dissed
Oh,
me. With,
Serious question.
Y'all made him make some freestyles though. You looked
joints was
fine
good.
though. He was putting joints out on right?
What's a serious question,
Every had
Charlamagne?
records to play.
Serious question, right?
What?
Think about it.
Okay.
G-Dep, 2 singles
Yes.
off his album,
Yes.
have had a better shelf life than any single off Mace's Harlem.
That's
You're bugging,
bullshit.
man.
let's get it. And the other Harlem,
You don't even know it.
special delivery.
Feel so good.
Feel so good.
It's Feel
playing
So
some-
Good.
It's
Feel
playing
So Good,
somewhere
Big
right
Mama.
No, it's
now.
not.
Yes, y'all
you
sure
kidding
know
me?
it.
No,
They
not.
play Feel So Good way more than they
24
play that.
You
hours
hear
to
Let's
live.
Get It in
Agree
special
with you.
delivery nowadays more than Feel So
See,
Good.
No one,
Only at
no
home.
one has ever agreed with any of your Mace hot takes.
Only
Who
at
agrees
home.
with
Mace-
Let's Get It in
Feel So
special
Good.
delivery.
Feel
You
So
hear that on the
Good.
NBA?
Come on, man.
Who's
You hear that on the
Who's
NBA?
agreed with your Mace hot take? Nobody has.
No, that's not
Puffy
true.
hasn't,
Charlotte-
Locks,
That's not
none
true.
of us. B.Dot,
That's
Envy,
not,
me.
that's not true.
No one. Who?
Executives are
Girl,
a bad
who?
boy. Absolutely.
Who? On the low?
Yes.
Paul Pierre?
Yeah. No, Sean Press came up here and said it. It's his
what?
top 5.
But
I
Puff,
think they're biased because they
Yeah,
wish
he did.
bad.
He did.
Sean
say
Press
he
had
was
Mace
better.
at 5. He had Mace at 5. And that's not a
He
diss.
said Mace was in
But
the
that's
top
looking
5.
at
But-
it from a lens of now, like not in the moment. In the moment, he's the star. He defined the
But
company
isn't
post-Biggie.
that what history is about? Can't you go back and like look at
But
the
that's
whole
like,
landscape?
no,
and be
because
like,
we glorify DMX for that incredible run that he had, but that was a
Right.
small window where DMX was that force.
And this is another hot
Right?
take from Charlamagne.
Right?
What's the
DMX
hot
is an
take?
all-time great, but DMX had a run of 5. He had that 5-year career run where DMX was the king.
When we had the-
right, but that's a small run. So
Yeah.
that's my point. We do judge things that way. You're
But I'm not saying DMX one of the greatest of all time.
But we had that
But
hot
we
take.
love Styles and Jada because of their longevity.
But
we
we-
love to hear them rap now.
but isn't that what it's about?
Not when you're looking at the Bad Boy legacy and putting things in perspective, and now you were revisionist vision saying that Mace wasn't even top 5. That's not accurate.
I never was in the Mace like that.
Oh,
All
my
right, well, let's
goodness.
move on.
I was a Locks guy,
What do you
a
guys,
Biggie
what
guy,
do you guys
Black
think about
Rob.
Ray Shermer doing a 3-disc album? Are you
That's
excited?
way
Three
for that?
discs.
Those records
Oh,
are
my
good though.
goodness.
Yeah.
Those records are good.
I
Ray
don't know.
Sherman way
3
better than
songs.
Mace. Am I lying?
Yes.
I'm lying now. Oh my God, y'all don't think Ray Sherman better than Mace? Y'all bugging.
Ray Sherman is hotter than Mace right now.
I like
Absolutely.
Ray Sherman.
Yeah, I don't know about the triple album, but I think they're very talented. And I think it's interesting because, you could say, Migos have obviously had this
Yeah.
ascending moment, but you can't sleep on Ray Sherman,
That's
man.
Sway
They've been
Lee,
knocking
man.
out hits, man.
That's
And
mimosa music, man.
That was a
It
good.
feels like going to a brunch and you hear that
I
record.
love that
Sounds like-
competition. I would love that we have some groups in hip hop now like that.
We have a lot of
Ray
groups in
Sherman
hip-hop.
is like saying, you know what? With all respect to the Migos, we made Black Beatles. We got big records.
That's what I'm saying.
We have a lot of smashes. Like, let's go. And Sway Lee's a star. And,
Yeah.
But people sleep on Slim Jimmy. That Slim Jimmy solo record, The Brinks Truck, that's a hot record too. That just came out.
I was having that debate about Ray Sherman and the Migos the other day. I like the Migos and I like Ray Sherman, but I think Ray Shremmer makes better the music, but for whatever reason, Migos are just a
It's
tad
catchier.
bit bigger than Ray Shremmer. But it's not like Ray Shremmer didn't have a big number one record
Migos
either.
put in more work.
Yeah, I
though.
say the Migos
more
put out a
work.
lot more records.
They went through more ups
consistent.
and downs.
Yeah, more
They
consistent.
went
Migos
through the
more
ups and downs. Offset sitting down, the battles with the label. Like they blood, sweat, and tears it a little more. Where Ray Shremmer's just popped off with every single thing they've done in terms of having enough hits. Like every record's had 2 or 3 big records.
But shouldn't it
So
be
it's interesting.
quality over quantity?
But these days, I don't know. It feels like people conflate those two opinions and 2 ideas.
I think they're both good,
But they are
really
good.
strong groups.
Right.
It's great for the culture. I think we need more groups. Where are our East Coast
We
groups?
have a lot
Where
of
are our
groups,
West Coast
man. What are you
groups?
talking about?
What East Coast groups?
Yeah, what East Coast
What was the
groups?
last big East Coast group? Harlem World? Who was
Yo,
that?
shut up, man.
Well,
What
they
you
got-
noticing all
They got
along?
they got Flatbush Zombies out here. They're good on the
Oh, yeah, I
ground
like
level.
Flatbush Zombies. They don't get
Flatbush
enough
Zombies.
respect out here. Shout
Nah,
out
they
Flatbush
don't.
Zombies. Headstones.
They don't.
Headstone's a great record too.
Who are the good East Coast groups?
They have more collectives. You know what I'm saying? Like they have ASAP Mob,
The ASAP Mob, you could say.
Joey Badass, and the Pro Ever that crew. It's a more
It's-
collective
it's
than
Not
It's
necessarily
six-
group.
Is 6ix9ine
Right.
the hottest rapper in New York? Are
Who?
we really gonna say that 6ix9ine is the hottest rapper in New York?
hottest
He
rapper.
got the biggest records.
A
Tekashi
Boogie.
6ix9ine.
I would say
No.
for the younger group, A Boogie.
The hottest rapper in
Hey,
New York?
Boogie got more records than Tekashi 6ix9ine.
What's wrong with y'all?
Go off.
What's wrong with y'all? Y'all know who the
Yes, he
hottest
does.
rapper in New
Cardi
York
B.
is. Exactly.
Oh, Cardi B, yeah, Cardi B.
is absolutely the hottest
Yeah.
rapper in
Cardi
New
B,
York,
Cardi B,
and it's
Cardi
not
B.
even close.
Yeah, I would say Cardi B.
What's wrong with
Then I
y'all?
would say A Boogie.
Now, what are y'all looking for?
6ix9ine got records though. He's
6ix9ine
supposed to be in the
does have
conversation.
He ain't never had a number one song in the country. He ain't on the front of goddamn every magazine in the
Cosmo.
world.
Cosmo.
Right
Cosmo.
now.
Yeah,
Stone.
yeah,
Body
he's
and
not
Cardi
ever
just
gonna
went
do
gold.
Yes, and
Boy,
Cardi
she's
from
the
the
hottest rapper in
Bronx.
New York. Yeah, she's the hottest artist in New York. Cardi B, hands
Yeah.
down.
So what do y'all think of Nicki
Cardi
going
from
home too?
Starlets.
Nicki?
Yeah, I was gonna ask
Yeah.
you guys that. So, what do you think about Nicki not
excited.
posting anything since
Look at
December?
YN plotting
But
on
you
the
know
already. I can't watch this one. Watch this YN sauce he put on this.
You know Nicki Minaj is the owner of Tidal, one of the owners of Tidal.
So, what do you think is gonna happen when Nicki comes out? And have you heard any of her new music yet?
No, I want one of
We
those
know.
old school Charlemagne secret studio visits.
I'm
and
intrigued.
See what's going
I've
on.
had a couple of those.
Yeah, you fell out with that
for the new
That
music?
didn't work out.
Nah, I had one with Nicki back in the day. I was on one of Nicki's albums.
Yeah,
Yeah, I remember.
I'm aware.
Yeah.
Back
I'm
in the day.
I'm intrigued. I want to hear what she has to.
Yeah,
offer.
I think it's very smart, and that's not easy to do. I applaud her for doing it. Someone
Right.
that was that connected to social, for her to really be off
Staying
social
quiet.
for like 2 months and lay low. I mean, we saw how effective that worked for Drake. Drake was finally in a world where it's like there's a lot of Jay-Z Kendrick talk. Like, let me sit down for a little bit.
But he was
you
still
know,
out and
and
about.
then
You still seen him. You still seen him taking
Yeah.
pictures. You seen him at games. Like Nicki's gone.
She took it to an extreme, but I think that's important.
People are saying maybe she went to rehab.
What?
Damn.
No, I think I mean she was just working on her album.
Whoa.
did see that.
She was working
See,
on
now
her
you about to
album.
make Nicki tweet.
She
was in rehab.
Why you bringing
Who
Nicki
said
back?
she was in
Gabby?
rehab? I've never heard she was in
I just said
rehab.
Google it. I did see that.
She gonna check.
I'm about to Google it right
She
now.
gonna hit that dot
She
with the
texting
at
Envy
you.
as we
that
speak.
one.
I don't think so, but I
Not
heard
right.
that. But
I've heard she's in the studio finishing that album.
I
and
hope
really
so.
taking
I
it
heard she just
super
turned the
seriously.
album in.
and I hope Nicki is. I hope she's very open and honest. Like
I think
beyond
it's
honest.
exciting. I
Talk
think
about her
it's
family,
exciting.
everything that's in the news. Talk about her relationships. Talk about her
Oh, we
brother.
have too many
talk
questions for
about
Nicki, right,
everything.
Charlamagne? We
Like
got
just
too
be
many
open and
questions,
honest.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Only thing I want to hear from Nicki is good music. I don't care about anything going on in her personal life. That's what I want from Nicki Minaj.
I think
want
that's what creates good
focused
music, though.
music. You know, and if she puts it all in her music, great. You know how Jay-Z really don't give interviews unless he's talking to Rap Radar on his own platform. You know what I mean? He'll put everything in his
He
music.
came up with it before one time.
That's what I want Nicki to do.
That's
All right.
Nicki's platform too, so that means that Rap Radar is gonna be perhaps.
You never know.
Hopefully,
man.
if Elliott
Breakfast
plays his
Club got a
cards
lot of
right.
viewers, man. See what
I
I'm
don't
saying?
care about Nicki's brother. I don't care about alleged beef with Cardi. I just want her to get
I
back
hate
focused
that
with the
fake
bars.
beef, man.
That's it. I just want to hear the rap. That's
Right.
it. I want to hear music. If she got good music, she gonna win.
Well, that's what she's doing.
But I
as
think if
far
she
as I know.
opens up, I think that's what people want to hear. Just kind of like what Hov does on every album.
Yeah,
He opens up to the
She's
point.
been open. We've seen Safari's penis.
Hey, yeah.
Oh, man.
You see Safari penis?
So you have seen it.
No, I haven't seen it. I haven't
Yeah,
seen
you
it.
have seen it.
I haven't seen it. I'm being honest. I haven't seen it.
And FYI, I spoke to Safari. He said, "I know both Charlamagne and Envy have looked at it."
That is a lie.
That's a
I've never-
lie.
I promise to God on my life I never looked at it.
Tidal.com/Rap Radar.
Yo,
You won't
That's
be
why-
seeing any penises.
Yeah, I meant to tell you this yesterday. Now I was close to Safari's building, right? And Safari's trainer see me, and then Safari was like, "Yo, come upstairs." I'm like, "I am not coming upstairs to your mother effing crib."
Because there's
man.
already rumors about Envy.
Y'all had Safari at the show like 16 times, right? It's
Three.
too many times.
Three times.
Three.
He's a good sport.
People like it though.
He's a good
That's why I
sport.
think
You
Safari
think
gonna
he's
get.
gonna have a hit too, right?
I
You
think
trying
we're
to-
a hit. I'm not
you
saying
trying
it's gonna
to
be a
hit hard.
number one in the country. I'm just saying it's gonna be one of those
People
records
like
that
him.
charts. People like
the
it.
moment records.
Yeah, because people like him.
Yeah, people like him.
Likeability goes a long way nowadays. And Love and Hip Hop, for whatever reason, is becoming a viable platform
These
for people to
kids
showcase
love
their music.
people from Love and Hip Hop. They love him.
Who's the hottest right now?
Hottest artist?
Yeah, artist rapper right now.
At the moment, at this time right here,
Today.
I'd say Nipsey.
Nipsey?
Right now, if we talking about today, at this moment.
But
then you still got to say
All right,
the TDE.
let me ask you
Black
this.
Panther soundtrack.
Who's the hottest and who's the best?
Who is the best? The hottest right now? Who would be the hottest? I guess somebody like Cardi would be the hottest, but I mean, I still got to give it to the Kendrick or Drake being the best.
I think Migos are kind of hot.
Migos are hot.
What do you think is the best, Envy?
The best?
Yeah.
It's between Drake and Kendrick at this moment.
I say Drake and Kendrick.
I said
Angela?
I said the
What do you think?
Sorry,
Huh?
What do you think? Who's the hottest and who's the best?
The hottest right now, I'm gonna say probably Kendrick.
As the hottest or the best?
I would say Kendrick's the best right now,
Okay.
and I say Drake is the hottest.
Drake is
Ooh,
talented
I like
though.
that. I like that
I mean, I
hot
can't
take.
front. The Drake records that he put
The
out.
gas playing? You like
Guys
that?
Yeah, the
playing,
way that-
the diplomatic
That
music.
marketing
is
of
hard.
that and
Yeah.
the whole feel good feeling it made everybody had
I agree with Ann.
made it the most exciting thing that's happened
I
in a
agree with
while.
Ann.
Ah, you just trying to get
I
an
think
interview because you know you got an album
No,
coming out.
I'm
Why
gonna
you-
tell you my other. This is my hot take. I think I said the B.Dot the other day too. I think that the big debate, and it's funny because Drake got hit with a lot of that ghostwriting shit, and that obviously hurt him for a bit. But this rollout with this situation and how he's responded since has sort of quieted that back down. The all-time debate, I think, is going to be a Jay, Kendrick, Drake debate in the future. We all
Jay-Z?
respect the Biggie
I don't
and
think you
Pop.
can put Jay in that anymore.
No, of all time. Who's the greatest of all
How
time?
you just dismissing Nas like this?
No, he's in the conversation. Eminem's in the conversation. but I
Damn,
think
you really
that
work for
those-
Tidal and you from Queens. You didn't mention Nas, bro.
I love
You hear
Nas.
this guy?
Is
I'm gonna
Biggie-
tell you though, Nas is like Cole though. Let me tell you the difference.
Uh-oh.
Nas is like Cole though. They want to be all
You said
there.
Nas is cold,
Wow,
though?
Nas is
No,
like Cole
no,
now?
Cole to this
Wow.
generation. No,
That's
listen. No, I'm saying, look, nobody's giving Drake and Kendrick the credit they deserve. They're making history.
That's not
The
true.
ascension of Drake and Kendrick is historical. You look at their stats and what they've done.
Absolutely.
We tried to have this group where it's like Sean and Wale and all these people. They've broken out of that.
There's
Cole's there
definitely
too, but
tiers.
the difference between Cole is like Nas. Cole doesn't want to fight to be the all-time greatest. He wants you just to recognize he's the greatest. That's how Nas is. You just say he's the greatest. So he's there too. Cole's hanging around. But in this generation, I think that Kendrick and Drake each aren't getting the respect they deserve of the all-time moves they're making.
They're still young.
The all-time conversation, they're not getting that. I mean, there's a lot of history already in their catalogs, like the Grammy Awards and the stats that Drake's done. So I just think that, and again, we haven't mentioned Biggie and Pac, and obviously they're our foundation in a lot of sense, but I just think that all-time debate, I'm talking like 20, 30, 40 years, it's going to be Jay-Z, Drake, Kendrick, whatever order you put it, like who the all-time greatest is as hip-hop artists.
Drake is going to be the first rapper to be considered an all-time great without a classic solo album.
He could still make one.
Yeah.
We
He
think
probably,
444 is
Right.
one, right? So
yeah,
never
you're
know.
right.
Yeah.
You're right. But he hasn't thus far, though. He's still got a lot of material.
A lot of people say Take Care is a classic, but I don't think it's
so
universally
people
accepted
consider
as
So
that.
Far
So
gone.
Far
So
Gone.
far
So
So
gone.
far
I would say.
gone, I definitely would
The
say.
mixtape they consider the
Yeah.
classic, I think.
Well,
But I think-
but
and
we
I
don't
think-
count
yeah.
that, though, because we don't count Section 80 with Kendrick's catalog.
No, we don't.
And we could, because that was a great project.
Well, I don't
Right.
think we call. Actually, I think Good Kid, Mad City killed the class. We don't call
Yeah.
anything a classic album anymore.
Yes,
Good
we
Kid,
do.
Mad City was not in a real way, like that. It means the same thing. Good Kid, Mad City was the last record we was like. It was important to say that's a classic album. Pimp a Butterfly, damn. We're not saying it's classic album. We don't call anything really.
Pimp a
by that
Butterfly
same
is my
think it was-
favorite Kendrick album.
I agree.
I know,
I
but
think it
that's
is my
great
favorite
to say
too.
now, as everybody.
What about the
thinks,
Black
but-
Panther
but
soundtrack? You think that'll be considered?
I think it's a great body of work.
That's
No,
great.
what I'm saying, my argument is that I think since Good Kid, Mad City, we don't judge things that same way of like having to give it that classic stamp.
Because it's streaming.
I think a lot of different
What do
factors.
you think
Tidal?
about streaming?
I
Y'all
just think
streaming
that
is
the
cheating?
idea. I think there's an old way of looking at things, like the same way you would say Drake isn't an MC. It's all about hip hop artists, right? There's been times when you've done the hot MCs thing, and it's like Future's one of the guys. So whether you think Future's an MC or not, he's the. So I think the classic is like an old standard of how we judge things.
But what do you think
the
streaming?
best MC is? Huh?
You think streaming is cheating? Like, we were talking to somebody here and they said, when it came to buying albums, people actually had to go buy physical copies. So to get 1 million people to buy physical copies is a lot
No,
different
it's 'cause
than
our consumption
people
is now
streaming.
done through streaming. That's why I'm entitled. We're learning how to improve. We're all trying to learn how to improve. All these platforms, we're trying to learn how to improve.
But you could get my
the
stream by
situation.
accident. I could be in the gym, I could be working out, and a playlist come on, you get a stream by accident.
Nobody clicks on DJ Envy music by accident. your music doesn't just randomly pop up on
I saw you
anybody's
pushing.
playlist.
I saw you pushing that solo album back in the day, the epic joint.
I'm about-
Watch this.
I'm about 40, 50 million in streams, bro.
Oh, okay. No doubt.
Let's go.
Everybody about to buy a new
doubt.
Ferrari for no reason.
But tell him. I don't know if you know.
I like
We're not
Rhapsody
gonna go
too.
back to buying CDs.
Yeah, you like
Envy, if that's
Rhapsody
where you
more than
go.
everybody, though.
I think Rhapsody's one of the best.
Rhapsody's dope.
Right now.
But you said some shit about Rhapsody that really rubbed me the wrong way. You and Joe Budden had the year-end thing. You said she's just as good or better than J. Cole. I thought that was crazy.
I think we should start talking about her the same way we talk about all of these guys that are rapping.
I think you're on drugs.
You're not respecting J. Cole's catalog.
J. Cole is an elite spitter.
Catalog,
He's dope.
Kendrick's catalog.
You kidding me?
Rhapsody made a really great album, but this is her first real breakthrough thing.
This is the first album you listen to. She's got 3 projects.
But she's not
I know,
better
but
than
they
J.
don't match
Cole,
up to what Cole's catalog
Why not?
is.
Because she's a woman, YN? Why? Because she's a woman?
You too, Charlamagne. No, that's not what it is.
Now, Rhapsody's great, but I don't think she's as dope as J. Cole
J.
is,
Cole
though.
dropped a dub with that last project of his, man.
I think Born Sinner is his best project, but
Yeah, I like how you skipped over the fact he dropped a dub.
I don't wanna
with
say
his
it's a
last.
dub.
That was a terrible album.
no,
Go
terrible.
back and listen to it now.
It wasn't terrible.
Was
I
it
just
For Your Eyes Only?
yeah, I just
What do
didn't
you
connect
think of
with it
Big
as
Sean?
much.
You've been big of Big Sean, but it seemed like
The Metro Boomin
he's sort of
project?
taking a little bit of a step back.
You know why? Because he's listening to
internet's been tearing him down, all that type of stuff.
Because he's listening to social media. Because there was that Metro Boomin project was actually dope.
Nah, it was.
But for whatever reason that day, everybody wanted to make Big Sean the butt of the joke and talk about how trash his lyrics was.
Why is that happening?
I have no idea. I thought that's what I thought. I was losing it. I was like, I must be dumb. My ears are
Yeah, there's
completely
some shit
shot.
on there.
He
Pull
was
up and rap
snapping.
also.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, what is Big Sean doing different that he hasn't been doing every project?
B.Dot had a conversation.
Yeah.
It was like, B.Dot was like, fuck these motherfuckers. Don't
Word
say that.
up.
Big Sean's like, yeah, I'm coming back.
But that's the problem
Yeah.
with social media. Because I'm
See,
like,
I don't like that either.
I
That's what
know
I'm
these
saying.
guys were joking. Like I know they were joking. It was just a joke.
Right.
But everybody
And then
took
it kept
it.
going.
They
And
took
it
it
was
way too
Yeah,
far.
they took it serious.
Well, I think that they've created a narrative where Kendrick battled him where they never even really
I'm
happened.
still looking for all those disses.
People be making
They
disses out
made
of
their
nothing.
own
I'm
battle
like,
with how Kendrick bodied Sean, and there wasn't ever a real battle.
They said Humble was a diss record to Big Sean. The little bitch he's talking
Yeah.
about is Big Sean.
You can't convince any people otherwise. So
Kendrick
they
is
built their
real-
own narrative.
I mean, if there was a diss, Kendrick's very veiled in his approach when it comes to.
He's not gonna call your name.
Yeah,
is
he's
it?
not gonna call you out.
It's probably the best rap talk we've had here so far, man. Thank you.
It might be time for you
And
guys
you're not
to
asking
put.
for like old shit, like who I have beef with and all that
It
stuff.
might be
did that
time for
already.
you for you guys to
We did
put
that already.
Cash Doll on the Rap Radar podcast.
I think she's
man.
making noise out of
I think
Detroit.
so.
There's a lot of dope rappers,
And she's on
especially.
that Big Sean project, but she has some songs I really like. You might want to pay attention to Cash Doll.
Now, there's a lot of dope
Cash
female
Doll.
rappers coming up. I think Cash Doll's one of them. Tiara Whack out of Philly.
Tokyo
Greedy
Jets.
I'm not familiar with that.
Yeah, she signed the Grand Hustle.
Okay.
I Snow the Product. I still like
You
Snow
still
the
like
Product.
Snow the Product? You've been champion
Snow's
for a
dope.
long time.
Was Tink, your girl Tink.
Yeah, what happened to Tink?
Tink about to come back.
She
You saw,
independent.
You said that 2
Yeah.
years ago,
She's
man.
independent. She's not on.
she's only 22.
She left Timbo.
So
I
what?
think,
Eight,
right?
Nas was
Timbo
18
solo?
when he made
She'll
Illmatic.
be
Who cares?
fine, man. Jay-Z got dissed a lot when he first was coming up. You know what I mean? They had to do it themselves.
Right.
Tink is going to be fine. I promise you. Tink's too talented not to bop off. She'll be fine.
I hope so.
So what is the Breakfast Club coming back on the Rap Radar podcast? Are we-
You guys are
guys
popping.
ready?
Y'all got your own
be
podcast.
like,
You got
what?
two.
Yeah, you're right.
He
We
has
don't need-
Brilliant
we don't need-
Idiots.
yeah,
You
we
got
don't
Lip
need you guys.
Service.
Yeah.
You guys are busy for us, man.
I'm gonna ask you why y'all with the whole Troy Ave thing, what decisions were made, like do you guys you do a 2/3 thing, right?
2/3.
I wonder in those kind of situations, do you feel like you should have a unanimous vote when it comes to controversial interviews like that? Should you all agree?
mean-
and then if you wasn't part of that interview, do you feel responsible for whatever happens, or do you feel like you've absolved yourself?
I just didn't like the energy that
know how
the
you
last
feel. I'm
interview.
just saying.
Oh, no. Okay.
Yeah, we're aware.
You know what it was with me when anybody calls me, like, you know, when Charlamagne gives it, I get a lot of heat for Charlamagne shit because they don't see
course.
Charlamagne. So when Charlamagne gives an artist Donkey today, like he gave Monique Donkey today, and he gave Troy Ave Donkey today, and then we have a hour-long conversation where we pretty much call him a snitch and pretty much kill his career. And when he says, yo, I want to come up and talk my piece, I feel like if we can talk about him and call him a snitch and give him a donkey today, if he wants to come up and talk his piece, it's only right to. Same
And
same
Troy
with
Ave has
Monique.
never said anything about any of us negative up here. Like, I'm going to F this person up.
I don't have a problem with Troy Ave.
He's, might
But 50 Cent
respectfully
does.
disagree.
Because of
with
envy,
us.
bringing him up here. Now he got beef for 50 Cent.
Yeah, he
Okay?
does, but that's his own
But the
energy.
fact
That's
that we
his own
did
person.
talk about him should be able to give him the platform. I can see if we didn't mention him and it was irrelevant.
But does it concern you when like Charlamagne sits that out, or like again, does that type of
I didn't know he was going to sit it out.
Okay.
That was a game time decision.
I didn't know that was going to happen. That
But
he
Emma, do
left
you
the
feel like
room
they
and
should
didn't
be
come back.
unanimous? Does that concern you if one person says I'm not rocking with it? And it's how
If you
strict are you with
said
the
very
2/3?
strongly, listen, I'm not doing it. I don't think we should do it. And
I did. I said that a few
You
times.
didn't say you weren't doing it.
I
We
said
didn't
in
know
text
you weren't
messages.
doing it.
I said it up
He
here.
said he didn't want to do it.
I
He
said
said
it a few
he said he
times.
didn't want
I
to
was
do
like,
it.
why are we doing this? Do you remember what happened the last time when he came up here? It just
said he
created
didn't
a
wanna
lot
do
of
it.
negative energy.
He
And
said he wanted- I didn't agree because, like I said, we give somebody donkey today. But there's been interviews where they did and I didn't want to do, and
And then you see what happens when that happens.
Yeah.
And maybe like, he won't say a word the whole interview.
on his phone on Instagram.
He did that with drama.
But I'm
Yeah.
sure there'll be more. And, you know, it
Right.
is what it is. Nobody takes it personal. It's his decision. That's what he wanted to do. But we don't take nothing personal.
Would y'all have interviewed Troy Ave?
Yeah. Elliott? No?
Not yet, till the music warrants it. And also, I just hate
Boom. That's my thing. If he had some
Yeah.
music that he was promoting, cool.
Yeah.
But
He was promoting
Well, he
music,
did.
no?
He was promoting music.
Yeah.
What music did he promote when he was
He
there?
just had a new video that he just put out.
Yeah, but it was
That
about
song.
the same situation
And
that
everybody was
I'm
talking
tired of
about it.
talking
Yeah,
about.
that's
Like,
tough too, because you can't really talk about it, and then you almost don't want somebody to violate their situation, right? So it's a weird thing when it's a legal issue. You don't want people to really.
But I think in his case, I think his whole thing was he wanted to. I mean, he didn't do it, but I think he wanted to clear himself and wanted people to buy and support his music. You know, that's why I think he wanted to clear his name. It was more confusing than anything else, but that's what I think his goal was.
And
you
he
know?
also had his first show. So he was supposed to have his first show in a long time in the New York area later the next week. So I guess he wanted to talk about that also. But
what happened to the show? That never happened.
No, I think
it got canceled.
Yeah, it got canceled. So
Yeah, but I think that's the only artist we ever disagreed about. But most of the time, if one says no or two says no,
It's not a big stance.
it's not a big stance.
Yeah.
Unless it's somebody like, I really want this person up here, and if I really want it, they usually really want
and
it.
that's
Charlamagne really
that's
wants it,
happened
you know.
before with one of them might want somebody, the other one doesn't want it, but it ends up happening still.
But isn't it hard, Charlamagne, because you championed him early? So, you know, to take that stance and not
I
show
still
up.
like Troy. I just think that, you got to have more respect for Banger's family. Rest in peace.
Right.
You know what I mean? Especially seeing how they
R.I.P.
reacted
Banger.
the last time he came here. That's all. And then plus with Troy, if you really like Troy, somebody need to tell Troy be quiet. Like, you know what I mean? Like relax until your case is over.
We're still in it. That's the
Yeah,
thing too.
yeah,
Everybody's still in it. Man.
I think people thought that Charlamagne had a dog in the fight, and that I had a dog in the fight, but I don't.
Yeah, because Taxstone's my man. But I mean, if that was the case, we wouldn't interview Troy last year.
Right.
Absolutely.
You know, if it was real bias. But whatever.
Well, I don't have a dog in the fight.
Neither do I. Neither do I. Anything
You
else?
don't want to
guys?
mention Title one more time?
Remember mention Tidal.
You want to say Tidal?
Yeah,
And who's
You-
going to be
you
on this
mentioned
new
Tidal the
season?
way
Let's
Monique
talk
mentions
about who
daddy.
is going to be on this new season, because y'all haven't said that. We heard the first episode, but
Right.
who else is going to be
So we
on?
got 2 Chainz coming up.
Rap
We've had
Gangsta.
Royce the 5'9", Jermaine Dupri, who we
Him and
mentioned.
Jermaine Dupri always love to argue about where Jermaine Dupri's
Yeah, I
place
said
in
Jermaine-
rap history, producer-wise.
Jermaine
You
Dupri-
put him down low all the
He's
time.
not a
pause.
top. If we're talking top 10
Jermaine's
rap,
getting at him.
if we're talking top 10 rap producers of all time, Jermaine Dupri doesn't make the top 10 list.
Really?
JD.
Come on, he doesn't make. Jermaine Dupri.
DJ Envy, former A&R.
I
Jermaine
know,
Dupri.
but we're talking about rap. If we're talking about rap, there's a like
So who
rapper
makes
or
the
rap,
list?
rap.
Who
no,
makes the list?
I mean, if we're talking.
You just talking about production?
can't
or
agree
rap?
with
Good point, though.
B.Dot.
He makes
Oh snap!
I'm trying to figure out like
Wait,
top.
say it again? You said
I
what?
gotta agree with B.Dot.
Well, I said the thing with
Production?
the thing
Yeah,
that-
for top 10,
Yeah.
you got Dr. Dre, you got Kanye, you got the Neptunes, you got RZA,
JD
Timberland.
JD loves this conversation.
Is it just hip hop or just
Just
overall?
hip hop.
Just hip hop. He might make
You
top
don't
10.
think so?
No.
All
No,
the
but
stuff
see, he
that he's
puts
done?
like track masters
But if you-
above him.
You don't
those
remember?
kind of
You don't remember
guys.
all the stuff Bow Wow?
Of course.
He brought Usher back when Usher was a
No,
little
see, that's
cold.
not R&B. That's
Premier.
R&B. That's
He
not
talking
hip
about
hop.
producer,
No, we're
huh?
talking about rap. So we got Primo.
Premier,
Yeah, I
Pete
guess
Rock,
that's the debate. If you like, as a
Kanye,
hip hop producer,
Kanye,
the artists that he
Swiss,
broke in hip
Manny
hop don't
Fresh.
get the respect. Bow Wow,
RZA.
Chris Cross, The Brat.
Manny
The stuff like that.
Fresh.
You don't get-
almost
they don't
said
get the
11.
Yeah, I don't
respect.
think Jay Bree top. I don't think
Nah,
Jay top.
I told you he's top 15. That's what I said. He takes offense
But
to
he's
that.
still, but the thing about JD that makes him a fascinating, great interview, as you guys know, it's like he is all time great though. It's undisputed.
Without question.
But he's still underrated, and he has that chip on his shoulder, which is what drives
He
him because
should.
he doesn't get that props. Like he was saying with the Mariah Carey record, like the We Belong Together, it's one of the biggest records of all time. But he don't get credit for producing that record because he's not in the beginning doing the ad libs talking about. Y'all know what this is, so deaf or whatever. Like he don't get the credit he deserves for that record. So,
I mean,
but that
the-
Mariah Carey record is
He
like
did
one
the
of the biggest
Brat. He
records of all
did,
We
he
Belong
did
Together.
3
It's
on
the biggest
Luda's
record of all
album. He
time.
did Bow Wow.
You're
But-
pulling up the stats, pulling up some J.
Yeah.
Jermaine Dupri is a legend, but if we're comparing him to his peers, come on, man. There's no not top 10.
Yeah, so JD, we got a great interview with Royce the 5'9", with the Prime Project coming out. He also said some great things about his history with Eminem, like real.
See, I just don't
stuff.
think you respect Jermaine Dupri's artists.
No.
The Franchise Boys were huge.
Who respects
Envy,
the franchise
Envy.
boys at this?
Chingy, Charlamagne's favorite artist,
But
was huge.
Chingy
Pull
wasn't
him up, baby.
Chingy
Pull
wasn't
him up,
signed to
baby.
So Def. But with the franchise boys and guys like that, those records were already done. A lot of those records were already done when
Right.
Jermaine Dupri grabbed them.
He took him to the next level.
But I don't think, I mean, come
Welcome
on.
to Atlanta.
Top 2018, man.
we're still
I'm getting
talking
top 15.
franchise
Money ain't a
boys.
thing.
And
Top
you know-
15.
You know
I'm
what else
kinda
I
with
wanted to
B.Dot
ask
on
you
that
guys?
one.
What do you think is going to happen with Russell Simmons and his whole history,
Yeah,
his legendary
I don't know,
status
man.
in this
We're
business?
gonna get him on a Rap Radar podcast. I don't know, man. Hopefully everything works itself out. I mean, if he's guilty of the crimes that he's accused of. That's the thing that we don't know. I'm just gonna make sure.
He's trying to make amends of the
carefully.
situation. I think he's handling it right. I think he's keeping a low profile. I think he's going through his meditation. I think he's trying to, hopefully he can repair the situations that he may have caused, and deals with it,
Hopefully the facts come out at the end of the day.
Besides that, great respect for him and what he's done for the culture. Obviously, it can never be taken away.
That's a fact.
And I respect the fact that Russell said he don't want to he don't want to distract from the movement that the women have going on right now.
Right.
Yeah,
that's
the
what
way
he
he's
said.
handled it seems like keeping a low profile and
Right.
going with what he's going through is the right thing to do.
Well, we appreciate you guys for joining us.
On
Yes.
a serious note.
Elliott Wilson, Brian B.Dot
Tidal,
Millar.
man, Tidal.
Daddy. Daddy. It sounds like Monique saying daddy.
Leonard.
Thank you guys for bringing us here again.
You wasn't bad with Leonard? Where we
That's
go?
my name.
That's
I don't
his
know.
name.
People made a big deal about
My
that.
mom-
You didn't think that
She
was
was
a little
trying to
disrespectful?
No, that's his name.
No.
If someone calls me
That's
Brian instead of
disrespect,
B.Dot,
right?
I'm like,
That's
that's
my-
that's my name.
That was disrespectful.
Evie, that's disrespect,
What do you think my
baby.
wife calls me?
Charlamagne.
And my mom.
Yeah, that's your wife and your mom.
And my nieces
that's
and
like on the radio
nephews.
show.
That's his
Your
name.
name is Charlamagne the God on this
Exactly.
radio show.
Respect him, right?
Listen, when I'm at the airport, you know what they say? Leonard McKelvey, could you come to gate 38, please? All right?
I feel like they say Leonard.
Leonard.
Leonard with no O.
Word.
L-E-N-A-R-D.
All right,
I
Leonard.
thank
Thank
us
you,
for
guys.
having us, man. I love y'all for real.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
it's the Breakfast Club.
What was that? That was weird.
Yeah, daddy.
All right.
My goodness. It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning.